Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with a Halloween card featuring Hello Bluebird. So throughout this video, I make a few mistakes, but I decided to share this anyway because I thought that I came up with some ways to problem solve some of my mistakes and to basically make them work, and I know it can be really helpful to see how other people do that, and it can be honestly a little bit encouraging to see that plenty of other people struggle as they're trying to get their crafting done. So I started by masking off this bat, and I'm going to make 3 bats. This is from the Spooky Spellers stamp set. There's a bunch of little critters, and they're all really cute, but I wanted to do bats because I've been seeing a lot of people coloring bats and people coming out with new bats, and I knew I had this stamp set, and I just wanted to color purple bats like I've seen everybody doing all over Instagram. So I decided to make 3 of them, and I'm going to use a Boo sentiment. The stamp set comes with a couple of different things that you can stamp, but because I didn't want to have too many critters on my card, I wanted to keep it simple. So that was one of the nice short sentiments. I also was thinking that it was going to be the only sentiment because I've been trying to avoid putting the Happy Halloween or Merry Christmas or etc. right on the front of the card because I'm often find myself repeating it on the inside of cards, so I'm trying to find other sentiments. But in this case, I wind up having to add an additional sentiment just to kind of fix things of sorts later on. At first I thought I was going to make 2 of these cards because I thought this idea was going to be totally fabulous and I would love it, but it turned out to be a lot more work and I made a couple mistakes as I mentioned along the way. So I will say I took this second panel of adorable stamped bats and just kind of put it off to the side for a future day and to not get so intimidated by it. But I did cut 3 masks because I'm going to do an all over stamping in the background. The first time I tried the card, I thought, oh, I'm only going to need 1 mask because I'm only going to be stamping little parts of the card background at a time. I'll just keep moving the mask and I won't cut a bunch of masks and waste time there. And then I was like, wait, when I stamping between 2 bats, they're at least both going to need to be covered. It would just be faster to cover them all. So that was one of the mistakes that I've already sort of recovered from, but that was more just from starting over and cutting some additional masks. Anyway, now that I have my masks there, I'm ready to do my all over background stamping. So I'm going to take all the little candy from this stamp set and put it on the block at the same time. I don't know if that was the best choice just because it made it a little hard to work with because it's a really big chunk of stamps, but it did work and it was a little bit more tricky than some background stamping I've done. If you find that it's hard to kind of piece it together, I would say maybe just use 2 or 3 pieces of candy at a time. It certainly goes a little faster if you have all of your little elements when you're stamping your own backgrounds like this, and I like to do this. I've done it many times on my channel because it helps you to get more out of your stamp. It helps you to, pull out just 1 stamp set and really make a full and complete card with it, not having to add so much. I think that you could do a pretty similar look with another stamp set called Costume Party from Fawn, and I actually am going to pull that out later for a sentiment. But it has all these, it has little candies too, and slightly different images, but the same sort of basic idea would work. Because they put so many stamps on the stamp block when I was making my background, it caused a few gaps here and there, and while the candy corn is really small and would help fill those gaps, all 3 candy corns are attached. So I went with the next smallest candy, which is just this little wrapped piece that kind of reminds me of a Tootsie Roll, and I stamped that all over instead. So I'm going to go into the Copic coloring. So if that's not something you're so into, that's kind of, you might want to skip ahead a little bit, but it's really simple Copic coloring, and I have a few tips that might be helpful. So with the masking, I did not cut out the area between their legs. I realized since I stamped my own background, there might be little candy pieces that should have gone between their legs. I honestly didn't notice it. I mean, right there, you can kind of see with the way the bat was stamped, there probably should have been part of the, a stick for the lollipop in between his legs. I don't think anyone will notice. I didn't even notice as I was coloring. So I decided to keep the background super simple. So I'm basically kind of making my own pattern paper is one way of thinking of it. But I want the bats to be the star of the show. So here in the background, I'm just taking one solid orange, one solid yellow, and an N7, which is a gray, but kind of acting as a black here. And I just use those same colors over and over again. I kind of let the fact that the candy corn has to be certain colors, or is traditionally certain colors, be my guide. So I stuck with the yellow and the orange. I will say I would have preferred to not pick as bright of an orange and as bright of a yellow. I kind of just looked at like, oh, what sort of colors of candy corn, and I didn't really think about the overall composition when I chose those colors. So I might choose a little bit more of a muted set. If you use Copics, the higher the first number, the more desaturated it is, and therefore the little more muted that it tends to be, as sort of a general rule. Like if you look at the G0 markers, they're a lot brighter than the G9 markers, for instance. Like G09 is a lot brighter than G99. I feel like I said 9 a lot for that, so I hope that made sense. Okay, so to color the bat, this is where I actually did some shading and some interest, whereas in the background it was just pure solid coloring. I took V28, 25, and 22 to color the bats, and then I added just the V20 in their ears because I didn't want to add any additional colors. I also took an N1 marker, I believe, to add a little bit of color to the sign so that they weren't bright white and they would stand out a bit from the background. I did super simple coloring because this is not an actual scene. Like there's nowhere that bats are going to be holding paper while candy falls around them. Like this is not nature, of course. So I did really like basic, if you color on the sides, it gives them a bit of a rounded look, or if you add some drop shadows where their body meets their wings. So once I did that, I felt like the bats weren't really standing out, and this background was way more overpowering than I imagined in my head. I imagined it being a lot subtler, and those bright colors is part of the reason it's not so subtle. So I'm going to do a few things to fix it. I'm going to start by taking an N1 marker and tracing around every little part of the bats and their signs. I started with an N1, and I will use an N3 off camera and make an even smaller line tracing all around. The only reason I didn't film that, even though I think that was really ultimately what helped it pop, I needed that darker, the N3, is that I had to get like really on top of the card in order to make the very thin line that I wanted. But having this really thin line of shadow around them helped separate them from the background and make them sort of come forward and be more prominent. Now, of course, if you wanted to save yourself a lot of trouble, you could just die cut and color these bats separately and then put them on a similar background and then maybe not choose such bold background colors like I did. But I think that knowing that tracing around with a gray marker helps your images pop is a good tip to kind of keep in the back of your head, because even that is something I kind of knew in the back of my head, and it really saved me on this card, I think, because I really wasn't liking it at that point. So I stamped the boo sentiment in there as I had always planned to do, but I wanted to think of some ways of toning down the background a bit. So I decided I would die cut it and make it smaller, because then there would be less of the candy and the bats would take up more of the card. And I decided to pull in some black for a couple reasons. One, tone it down, but also I had the black candy and it was really kind of popping because it was such a dark color compared to some of the other stuff, and there wasn't a lot of other black going on in the card. So I decided I would stamp a sentiment on black cardstock and I would white heat emboss it. Frankly, I'm bad at heat embossing. I don't know why. I just, I follow all the directions, and yet somehow I always have powder sticking where I don't want it. I had to heat emboss this twice to get one that was even okay. But Simon Says Stamp recently came out with this product where it's just printed white sentiments on black cardstock. And that's coming in the mail because I'm so bad at black heat embossing. But I think also those stamp sets where it stamps in the black and you stamp it on white cardstock so that basically you have a white sentiment. Those are probably good for me too, just because, yeah, I wish I was better at it. Anyway, once I do have that melted, I'm ready I die cut it with a stitch scallop rectangle, and then I'm going to put it on some black cardstock to save some of the glitter cardstock since it's a little bit fancier I decided to die cut the center out because I'm going to be covering so much of it with my panel. So I just took from the same die set a smaller rectangle, cut it out of the center. It also makes it a little easier to stick because glitter paper, it can be really hard to get your cardstock to stick to it. So by creating a hole between where the glitter and the card base is, it gives you a little bit more room to put adhesive down. So that is it for my card today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in more crafting tutorials, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I will leave you links to the products I used in the video description below. Thank you so much for taking this time to join me today and supporting my channel. Have an awesome day. Bye.